Hey everyone, it's me, Carly. Today we're going to work with vectors by Karlina Vectors1. So here's our equation. T represents terminal and I represents initial. Here's our equation right here. Okay. Now, here's some notes. I is a unit in x direction and j is the unit in y direction. Pretty simple. Now we'll start with component form. So with our easy problem, vector b has an initial point, -2, 7, and a terminal point, 9, 4. Now find the components of vector b. So in order to do that, we're going to figure out how many points it took to get from one point to the other. So in order to do that, we're going to start out with our points, and then to get from -2 to 9, it took 11. Then to get from 7 to 4, you go down 3. And so our answer would be b equals 11, -3. Now for our hard problem, leaving the outpost, Julie went on a 3-day journey into a desert. Her distance and direction, which is displacement, from start to finish on day 1 was d equals 3i plus 7j. Her displacement on day 2 is -1i plus 8j. And her displacement on day 3 is represented as d3, and it took her back to the outpost. So, what distance did Julie travel on day 3? So, we want to get this, correct? So, in order to do that, we're going to set up our 2 points, and then we're going to add our x's. So, 3i plus -1i would just be 2i, and then 7j plus 8j is 15j. Then, we can't get from here to here with that, because we want from here to here. So you multiply it by -1 to get -2i minus 15j. Continuing on, in what direction did Julie travel on day 3? So in order to do that, we're going to set up our equation, which is theta equals arctan multiplied by b over a, and then we'll just plug in our x component and our y component into that equation. So it'd be theta equals arctan multiplied by -15 over -2. And once we do that, we have to add 180 because we want it to be in the correct coordinate. So theta equals 262.4. Now we're going to move to magnitude and direction. Find magnitude and direction of 5 square root I plus 5 square root j. So we'll start out with our Pythagorean's theorem and do the square root of these two squared, which then you would get square root 100, which then r equals 10. Now to solve for direction, we're going to use the equation we used earlier, which is theta equals arctan, and then we'll just already plug in 5 root 2 over 5 root 2, which cancels to 1. So arctan multiplied 1 by 1 equals 45 degrees. Now for our hard problem, we want to find v plus w. And we have our picture right here that we're going to work with. So in order to do that, we're going to use cosine and sine. And here's our equation right here. So we're going to do 5 cosine 70 degrees right here, plus 6 cosine 160 degrees to get our x, and then to get our y, we just use sine and plug in the same thing but with sine. So 5 sine 70 degrees plus 6 sine 160 degrees, and you can just plug that into your calculator, and you'll get v plus w equals -3.93, 6.75. And that's that for that one. Now, in order to prove magnitude is equal to square root a squared plus b squared, we're going using Pythagorean's theorem. So our proof for Pythagorean's theorem is a squared plus b squared equals magnitude squared. And in order to get rid of our our squares, we're going to use a square root. So square root a squared plus b squared equals square root of magnitude squared, which just then equals magnitude equals square root a squared plus b squared. So we proved that that is correct. Now we are going to prove the argument is equal to theta equals arctan multiplied b over a. In order to prove that, we're going to use trigonometry. So we're going to start out with our equation. Theta equals arctan multiplied by b over a. And from there, we are going to take tangent to both sides, just like this, which then just reduces down back to our equation, proving that it is correct. Now, we're going to move to scalar multiplication. With scalar multiplication, here's our easy problem. So we start out with v equals 8, 4, and they want us to find v multiplied by 1/4. So multiplying 1/4 times 8, you would then equal 2. Then 4 multiplied by 1/4 equals 1. So our v equals 2, 1. Now for our hard problem, we'll stick with 8 and 4, and they want us to find v multiplied by √4. Well, you know that √4 reduces down to 2, so we'll be multiplying 8 times 2, which is 16, and then 4 times 2, which is 8. So our answer would be v equals 16, 8. Now, adding and subtracting using component form. So our easy problem, we're going to start out with u equals 4, 9, and w equals -12, 11. So they want us to do u minus w. So we'll do u equals, our x component equals 4 minus -12, which just equals 4 plus 12, which then equals 16. Then we'll do the same thing with our y and do 9 minus -11, which just equals 9 plus 11, then equals 20. So our answer is u minus w equals 16, 20. Now our hard problem, we're going to start out with this direction, which is 5i plus 6j, and then this one, which is -3i plus 8j. And in order to get this, we want to do 5i minus 3i and 6j plus 8j. So we're going to get 2i plus 14j. And then we want to multiply it by -1 because that would get us in the positive direction, but we want it in the negative direction. So we'll get -2i minus 14j as your final answer. The end. Thank you very much for listening to Karlina's wonderful, beautiful, extravagant voice.